Well, this next person to take the stage is another voice in the Scooby-Doo world, but I've been a fan of his acting work for a long time. He's a great actor, and I've just met him today, but he's a great guy, and I know you'll like him too. Please give it up for Mr. Matthew Lillard! You know we gotta make it such a Scooby-Doo, get ready for your ass. Don't hold back. And Scooby-Doo, if you don't do, you're gonna have yourself a Scooby-Doo. That's a fact.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you?
That's right, that's right, that's right.
Why did you stop?
Well, we did that part.
That was the highlight of my entire time. Why are you in the back? There's seats up front.
No, that's not how it works.
Let me give you my coronavirus. I'm stripping and nobody's screaming. Thank you so much.
One of those feels, you just ask for it.
Well, yes, you have to.
I'm taking my shirt off, everybody. Please scream.
That would ruin you all.
Matthew, enjoy yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, Matthew Lillard.
Hi, guys. How long do we have? Does anyone know?
45.
45 minutes. Okay, great. Here's the thing. I want you to know something. I don't do these like most people. So here's my thing. I'm a big fan of like just telling you what my life is like and telling you truth. So my whole thing is like, if I come up here and tell you how great my life is all the time, I'd be lying to you. So my whole thing is, I want to give it to you how I see it, having been in this business now 30 years. So feel free to ask me anything you want, and hopefully I can answer. Are you signing down there? That's amazing. She can't hear me. Yes, do you guys have a question? Who has the question first?
There's two microphones
Hello
on
again.
the far sides.
Oh my God, you're so far away over there and over there. Hi, okay, hi.
What would your dream D&D campaign be?
So if you don't know this, my passion in life, I have lots of passions in life, but I started a Dungeons and Dragons company with 5 of my best friends 3 years ago. It's called Beetle and Grimm's. Feel free to go and buy our stuff. Basically what we had a midlife crisis because we were like happily married with many children and normal jobs, and like we wanted more out of life. So we started a company that we're passionate about and we love. And so now I've become a voice in the Dungeons and Dragons world, which I love. And I love it because in my life, I became an actor because I was an outsider in everything. I had a severe learning disability. I was obese, I had glasses, I had braces. Like, I was pretty much a loser. And I found acting and it changed my life. And so for me, you don't have to applaud. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for applauding. But for me, I like being an advocate for people that game because I find that a lot of times people find Dungeons and Dragons because they sometimes don't fit in other places. And so if I can in any way represent that world and that culture and those people, it makes me super happy. So if you ask me what you handsome son of a bitch, DJ Qualls.
No touching.
He gave me the coronavirus. That's patient 0.
No, it's sexually transmitted.
So if I could be a voice for those people, it'd be amazing. So if I had a campaign, so one of my favorite campaigns is in the north, so it's in the cold north. I like playing sort of like in that world. Does that make sense? All right, good. Next question. Next question. Hi, I'm coming to this side.
Hi. So you've done the voice acting and the live action acting. What are some things about both of those that you prefer over the other?
Well, I like live action because I like people. If you just do a voice, you sit in a room with the same people all the time, and that's pretty boring. And normally it's just me. But I do the voice, so I was the voice of Shaggy. I played Shaggy in... You guys, a bunch of middle-aged women who like to scream. I love it. By the way, if you had told me that it would be a bunch of middle-aged women and no teenagers, I'd be like, that doesn't make any sense. Yet here you all are. You guys, I think we should all go get tattoos. Right across our throats. Soup's Natch.
Scooby-Doo.
I kind of want to do stand-up now. You guys are very easy. There's so many things I want to say about that comment. I'm not going to. So I played Shaggy and Scooby-Doo. So Casey Kasem, God bless his heart, was the voice of Shaggy when I was doing the movie. And so when he was the voice, I called up and said, whenever Casey's done, it'd be my honor to step in and hold that part. And so I have now done it for the last, I think 12 years. For me, it's an opportunity to hold a piece of history for a brief amount of time. Like Scooby was around before me. It actually came out in 1969, I was born in 1970. It will be around longer than we're all here. So I love the idea of being a part of history and holding its space and sort of honoring what Casey created and what that show is. I just got replaced in a movie called Scoob. And it was the single most heartbreaking thing that's happened in my career. And you can feel bad for me because it sucked. And that's just the way it kind of goes. And somebody else came on, the movie comes out in 2 months. Feel free to never watch it. And I was replaced for somebody they thought was more famous. I don't know what it was. But it was, it really sucked because I love that part. And I love you can transact with a kid, you have a kid come up to your table or something and you can kind of blow their mind and it's a real gift. So I love that part. But the movies are more fun. Next question.
Hi, Matthew.
Hi.
Hi, I wanted to ask about Scream because it's so iconic. For me, I feel like...
Sorry, go ahead.
That's all right. I feel like it kind of changed the landscape of horror movies targeted at teenagers at the time. And to this day, I still quote "Live Her Alone," your line from that. I wondered if you had a favorite iconic quote from that Stu had in the movie.
Sure. So the great thing about that movie is because we were all kids and nobody sort of expected that movie to be anything. Wes Craven, God bless his heart, the longer you're around, the more people die. Sucks. Hadn't made a great movie in a long time. And it starred Neve Campbell and Courtney Cox, who were both on TV. And it was sort of this moment in my life where I'm like, oh yeah, I'll do a horror movie, I don't care, whatever. Cut to, it was sort of a defining moment in my life. For me, the line that means the most to me is, you hit me with the phone, Dick. There's a part in the movie where it slips out of his hands, Skeet, and the phone hits me in the head, and you hit me with the phone, you effing dick. And it's funny because you're only allowed to have 2 F words in an R-rated movie. You only have 2 F-bombs. And Tatum had both of them, and I stole one of her F-bombs. She's still pissed about it. So that was because in the end of that movie, we shot the end of that film for 3 weeks. And a lot of that was improv, and they kept it in. So I'm proud of the fact that my performance sort of rose to a level, and they decided to keep it. So thank you. Yeah. It's interesting. So in your life as an artist, nothing ever goes up unless you're on Supernatural. You ebb and flow. Acting and journey and career, nothing is all the way up all the time. And so there are moments in my life where I didn't know if I was ever going to have another job. And I had 3 kids and a wife and like a life. And there's a moment in Scream, at the end of Scream, where this is back in the day. Most of you will understand, because you're my age. But there was only 1 cell phone on set. Hilarious. And at some point I was like, hey, Wes, I need to use the cell phone, the set cell phone. I have to call my mom. He's like, why are you calling your mom? And I was like, I have to talk to her. He's like, it's funny, we were just talking about you. I'm like, oh yeah? He's like, yeah, we were just saying that someday you're going to win an Academy Award. And go ahead, scream. It makes me so happy. I don't know why. But they said, someday you're going to win an Academy Award. And I was like, oh yeah, I want to tell my mom that. And so I got on the phone to my mom and said, someday your son's going to win an Academy Award. And so there's a moment in my life where I hadn't worked in like a year. It was after Scooby-Doo. And I was starting to wonder if I was ever going to make another movie, if I was ever going to make another dollar, if I was going to be able to feed my kids. And there's little tokens in your life that you hold on to, and that moment with Wes Craven kept me in the game. And if it wasn't for that moment, there's a good chance I'd be somewhere back east teaching acting to kids in some high school somewhere. But these little things that pull you through when it's hard. And I'll always be grateful for Wes Craven for that, because A, he gave me some of my best friends in this industry, gave me incredible memories, but also this opportunity to like believe in yourself when you don't, when it's hard. Right? Yeah.
Hi, my question is, what is your favorite part of being Shaggy in Scooby-Doo?
It's easy. My favorite part is like you catching a kid and saying, zoinks! Actually, you know what the other favorite part is that you can sometimes, I won't do it now, but if you do porno Shaggy, it's pretty funny. I am not doing that! No, it's not right. It's inappropriate.
We are middle-aged.
Maybe. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. You never know how it goes. Depends on how much you scream the rest of the time. Next question.
Hi. Okay, so I was way too young to be seeing this movie, but my favorite movie of you was 13 Ghosts.
It's a terrible movie. It's a movie of a guy stuck in a glass house that's a portal to hell. It's a terrible movie. Yes. Sorry.
I was like really young. I thought it was very interesting, but then I rewatched it and it was, yeah. Anyways.
Are you just up here to give me shit?
No, not at all. I'm just saying. But my question is, are you willing or would like to do any horror films, like puzzles and stuff like that in the future, or like now?
Yeah, I mean, look, here's the funny thing. So, in this, yes is the answer. You always want to work. In our lives as actors, there are some people that control their own destiny, and there are other people that are sort of like journeyman, blue collar, hoping to get work. And so I know that everyone likes screaming in this room, but I am not somebody that opens a movie all over the world. So I'm the latter of those two. I'm a blue collar actor. So you're hoping for an opportunity for a movie like that. I will say that one of the gifts in my life, and you all should understand this, is that our industry's changed. We used to get paid a lot more than what we get paid now. Every industry's changed, right? We used to be run by people that wanted to make great movies and would pay people for their talent. And now movies are being made and television's being made by people who have really great degrees from Wharton Business School and Harvard Business School. And it doesn't make sense to pay number 3, 4, and 5 on the call sheet a lot of money, because the supply of actors is plenty. And there's very few jobs. So if you don't want to work for a little, I'll find somebody who will. So for us, over time, we're getting paid less and less. Streaming services, everyone should understand that every time our movies or our TV shows go to streaming services, we never get paid again. So what used to happen for actors, is this interesting at all?
Yes.
Okay, good. So what used to happen for actors is that you would do a movie, you do a TV show, and they would pay you residuals. It wasn't a lot, but you would get paid, you would have income coming in. Because if you do a movie in January and you don't work again until December, it's really hard to get through to the other side. And so what's happening is streaming, they don't pay you those residuals anymore. So now they're not paying anyone because they don't have to. And now streaming services, they don't pay you residuals. So you have a bunch of people out there trying to make ends meet. So I want you to know something, that conventions like the one you're at right now helps people feed their families. So you being here, I mean, the boys, they're fine. You don't have to worry about them. As you hug them, just know they're rich. But there's a lot of other people here are transacting with that your money is going to feed their family. So they may not say it and you may not hear it enough, but thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting my family. Thank you for supporting all the actors here, because it means a lot to us in our journey through this career. So thank you. So, conventions and horror conventions for me has been huge. They've been huge. So thank you. I want to do another one, yes. I want to do another one. A horror movie. Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I loved you back in Hackers. Great movie. Do you prefer being Shaggy, or did you prefer working with Johnny Lee Miller?
Sure. Listen, you have to know something. All of my movies, whether they're good or bad, are my ugly little children. I love them all no matter what. I have been in so many shitty films that are really, I love them. In the Name of the King, A Dungeon Siege Tale, worst movie ever made. I'm incredible in it. So I love them all. Johnny Lee Miller is a dreamboat. Yes.
Hello, my name's Alyssa.
Hi, Alyssa.
Hi, it's nice to meet you. My question is, oh gosh.
I don't like looking at my butt in the mirror. I have no butt. I just have no ass. I have a long back that never stops. Long back and there's a crack in the middle. It's just, nothing is good about it. Squats. God only gives so many gifts. I'm sorry, Alyssa, I was talking about my ass. All right, go ahead.
You're good. So my question is, what was your reaction to there being a Supernatural and Scooby-Doo crossover episode?
I don't get it still. I don't understand you people. Why are you all here? I have 3 kids. I have a 17-year-old, 15-year-old, and an 11-year-old boy, 2 girls and a boy. And my girls have both watched all of Supernatural. Do you communicate in the hallways with screams? It's like a battle cry of middle-aged women. Gray, who's here, if you get a chance, Gray is the voice of Velma in Scooby-Doo. She is incredible. Daphne, sorry, my bad. She is a legend. She's a legend. She can do anything. I am not a legend, she's a legend. But Gray was like, they have conventions. I'm like, okay. Here we are. So I want you to know something. While I respect your passion for the show, I just don't, it's not in my lexicon. I just tell my kids to turn it off. I'm trying to be a father. When you're watching the series for the second time, it's time to do homework. So yeah, but I'm excited to be here. I'd like to come back. Can I come back? You're so easy. Yes.
Hi Matthew, I'm Wendy. My question for you is, what is the most interesting thing you've had to learn to do for a role?
Most interesting thing I've ever had to do for a role? I will say that most movies, the hero of the movie is there. Scooby-Doo, there was nothing there. So I spent a year of my life talking to an ex. Like, dude, I love you too, buddy. It's a very strange thing to do for a long period of time. Yeah, you're welcome. There had to be something else I've done that's weird. I don't know. I was in a movie where I was in my underwear most of the movie. That's not my favorite thing. You're a fat kid, you just never want to be in your underwear. Yeah.
Hi. Hi. Hi, I was just wondering what your favorite part about voice acting is.
I'll tell you, 2 answers. The first answer is we work in a place called Salami Studios, and you walk in every day and they have bacon. That's the best part. Look, I don't have a day job, so it's the closest thing I have to something that I can count on. And I really appreciate that. I really love the fact that I come in and I see people that I know really well, and we have a shorthand, and we work together and have fun. I mean, I have a great job. So I think that's the best part. Yeah, you're welcome. Are we bored yet? A little bit. Who said it, bitch? Who said it? What do you want? That is shaggy porn is not right. Alright. Yo, I never should have told you. Such a mistake. Yes.
Hi Matthew. So my mom just recently got me into a show that I'm completely obsessed with called Good Girls. What is it like on the set of Good Girls, and how do you feel about your character, Dean? He's actually pretty interesting to me, as you almost kind of feel like he's a bad guy at first, but in the end you just end up loving him, so.
Yeah, that's me. It's amazing. It's amazing. So I play a philandering asshole husband. I play all bad guys. It really is weird. So I think I'm super nice. It's amazing. I have a job. Do you see a theme? I have a theme today. It's great. So I'm on a show called Good Girls on NBC. We started out with 10 episodes. We then went to 13. This year, we're in our 3rd season. We have 16 episodes. What's happened is, it's awesome. So what happened is our show is Christina Hendricks, who's unbelievable. She's an unbelievable actress. Retta and Mae Whitman are the 3 stars. And the basic premise of the show is 3 normal women who end up turning to a life of crime, being out of necessity. And everything just keeps going bad, and there's this beautiful gangster who's having sex with my wife, which I think sucks. That is my pet peeve, by the way, getting online and just having everyone going, "Screw Dean, we love Rio." That's my fake wife. But it's great. Christina Hendricks and I just love her. I love her. We have a great time on set. I think it's really good work. I think the show's progressed in a really fun way. So the interesting thing about our show is that our show was bought by Netflix before we ever went to air. And so what happens is that Netflix then takes the show and shows it around the world. And if we didn't have Netflix at the end of the 1st season, we never would have gone on. But because it went around the world, it had a chance to pick up steam. And now it's like the #1 acquired show in the history of Netflix, worldwide. So it's funny. So just a little inside baseball. So our second episode is the most watched episode we've ever had. So it keeps going up, which is great. So if you haven't seen it, you should jump on because the show's great. The women are great. It's about these women who become these badass boss bitches. And it's really funny, and it's a little dirty, and a little crazy, and it's pushes the envelope for network TV because it goes to Netflix. But we're really proud of it. We love the show, so it's super fun. Thanks for asking.
Thank you.
How much more time do I have? Are we almost done?
Like 20 minutes.
20 minutes still? Oh my God, you guys. No, I'm not. I just feel like I'm boring. Okay. Where were you? You're late. Sit down. You have no idea I'm talking to you. Where have you been? Did you buy Supernatural swag? There you go. Is he shirtless? No, did they ever take their shirts off? How dreamy. How dreamy. Okay, yes.
Have you ever had a dog like Scooby? Where their relationship is kind of like Shaggy and Scooby?
Here's the best thing about their relationship. They're best friends. So they will do anything for each other no matter what. That's the best part of those two. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, like, have you ever had, like, a dog just like Scooby?
Oh, yes. Let me tell you about my dog, Mirth. If I cry, don't hold it against me. So I was 22 years old in New York City as an actor. And I had a girlfriend at the time, and I walked by a pet store, and there was a dog in the window in Harlem. And so I went into the guy, I was 22 years old, and I said, I'd like to hold the dog. And he let me hold the dog. I was like, I'd like to buy this dog. He's like, you can't buy the dog, you're 22 years old. And so I went home, and I was crushed because I couldn't buy that dog. And so the next day, I went to Long Island, to the ASPCA, and I picked up a dog named Mirth. And you know who should not have a dog at 22? Me. I was an actor in New York, which there's so many things. If you just imagine being a young boy running around New York in the 90s, and no matter what happened, no matter where I was, every single day, every single night I came home to my dog. So that dog was with me for 17 years. So you want to know the crazy story? So one day I came downstairs. I don't know how I'm telling this story. I'm telling the story because you asked a great question. So one day I came downstairs and we had kids and Mirth was done. She was walking in a circle and she was out of her mind and she was done. So I picked her up and I went to the veterinarian, to the vet, and I said, today's the day we have to put her down. And she got there and her adrenaline kicked up. And she was fine. And so I said to the doctor, I was like, she's fine. He's like, she looks pretty good. I'm like, great. He's like, I'm gonna give her some meds and we'll see how long she holds on. I'm like, great. So she was with me for another 8 months, and then the day came, it was really time. This is a terrible story. And so I took her in, I was like, last time I had to wait a long time, and the adrenaline kicked up, and she was fine for another 8 months, but like, let's just walk in and do it. They were like, okay. So I walked in, and they put the IV in, and there's 3 injections when you're putting your best friend down, and I'm hysterically sobbing. My wife couldn't go, because she's like, I can't deal with it. And the first injection goes in, and she knows she's passed. And halfway through the second injection, I literally said to the doctor, wait, stop! Because I was fucking with her. Because I was crying so hard, I couldn't help but to make a joke. And in that moment, she was like, oh my God. I said, I'm just kidding. So Mirth passed away. And then when we got another dog. And last year we got a dog that was adopted out of an alley in Pasadena. Her name's Tilly. So thank you for asking me about my dog.
I'm very sorry for the loss.
Say it
I'm very sorry for the loss.
Very sorry for your loss.
I had to put down a dog too.
Oh. I'm sorry. Hold on a sec. I know the coronavirus is here, but we set that up. Okay. Anyone else want to try to make me cry? Son of bitches. Yeah.
Hi, did you expect the Scooby Natural crossover to be as big as it was, or to get as big as it was and as good received as it did?
Not hear a word she said. Can you say it again? The speakers are going out. Can you say it again?
Did you expect the Scooby Natural crossover to get as big or as well received as it did?
No idea. I don't know why it is. Hey, Kathy, Kitty, get out of here. Annie, Eddas, you guys have to go to registration. No, I don't know why. I had no idea it was going to be big. I'm happy it is, because if it sucked, I wouldn't be here. And I'd much rather be here than at home. Yeah.
Hi, my name's Rebecca. You are such a nice guy. I was wondering how you prepared for your role on Criminal Minds.
Oh. Is that the one where I'm the gangster dude? Oh. No, is that with Mariska?
No, you were a psychopath and you were actually helping a young teenage
Yeah, that's
psychopath.
my gangster thing. Yeah. I don't know. Here's the great thing about my life. So, whatever you were doing when you were 14 and you were good at, I was good at one thing, and that was acting. Now, that doesn't mean that I was great by any stretch of the imagination. But the reality is that when you're lost in life, and you're an outsider and you're struggling, and you find something that you're different than everyone else, and adults say to you, hey, that was good. It's amazing how it can change your life. And so, since I was 14, I stepped into something that I fell in love with because people told me I didn't suck. So, when you give me a role like that, it gives me an opportunity to just pretend harder. And I like that. So I like playing bad guys. I like playing Scooby-Doo, or Shaggy. I like having opportunities to stretch. Like, I like Dean on Good Girls, but that's not as fun as playing something that is 180 degrees from what I am. I like these conventions because when I started doing them about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, maybe 3. But I used to think that these things were money grabs. Like, people would say, oh, you go to conventions, and my impression of going to a convention would be to sit and take money from people, and I just thought it was horrific. Why would I charge somebody when I will give freely at any moment? And my first convention I went to, I had this young girl come up to me and say, don't tell the boys. Don't tell the boys.
We're gonna tell Liz.
I had this little girl come up to me, this young woman come up to me with her whole family. And she said, "Do you see this picture?" There was a picture of her in her bedroom, and surrounded her were these images of a movie I did called SLC Punk, which is a movie about outcasts, an outcast. It's about a punk rock kid. And if you were a punk rock kid in the 90s and you found that movie, you're like, oh my God, somebody made a movie for me. And so that movie has resonance in people. And so this little girl comes up, this woman comes up to me and says, "This is me the day after I tried to kill myself." And their whole family was sitting behind her in this meeting crying. And she goes, "This movie saved my life." And she was like, a woman. And in that moment, I realized that the transaction of fame means nothing to me. I don't care about, I have a weird job, but it means a lot to other people. And so sitting in a convention, well, every time I'm in a convention, I sit on my table and I hug everyone that comes over. So the idea that we can't touch this weekend is very weird to me. But I think that you can transact in 2 minutes and change a kid's life. So I love these conventions. I don't know what your question was, but somehow there's a moment where you're like, you'll see a little gay kid in Oklahoma who's lost, or a little goth kid somewhere in the world. You'll be like, I see you. And I love the power that these things can possess. So I don't know why I got to that, but anyways. Yeah.
Hey Matthew, thanks for being here. I was going to ask you to talk about Fat Kid Rules the World, but now that you have, will you talk about the SVU that you were in with Carol Burnett and Mariska? Because that was an amazing episode, and you did a fabulous job in that as well.
So I directed a movie called Fat Kid Rules the World. If you haven't seen it, you should. It's awesome. It's kind of hard to find because it was a movie we did for $650,000. It's about an obese teenager that finds punk rock music. I love it. It's also the highlight of my entire career. That and Scooby Natural. You're such suckers. You know I haven't seen the show. I know I have to watch it tonight. Carol Burnett. Yeah, I was in an episode of SVU with Mariska Hargitay. So so one of my favorite things in life to do is teach. I'm a teacher. I teach acting. The first movie I did was a movie called Serial Mom. Insert scream. And I came back from Serial Mom. I went right to my acting school. Went to Circle and Square in New York, and I said to the head of the school, I learned so much on this movie. Let me teach everyone. And they're like, fine, whatever. So I taught my first class after doing my first movie, which is super arrogant, I think, but whatever. And I've taught my whole life. I'm a better teacher than I am anything. I'm a pretty good dad. But other than that, so SVU, there's a moment in the show where he breaks down crying. I played Carol Burnett's sort of houseboy. And he breaks down hysterically sobbing. And long story short, we get to rehearsal the morning of, and the director's like, whatever happens in this section, happens. Which is code for, I expect you to cry, but I don't want to tell you to cry. And my interpretation of that moment is that he's angry. And then Mariska came in and said, hey, whatever happens in this moment happens. And I was like, why doesn't somebody just say, you want me to cry? She's like, you have to dig into a deep place. And so I spent hours trying to get ready for this moment, and we timed for that moment in the day, in acting. Nothing happened. I faked my way through the whole thing. And I realized at that time I didn't have enough technique. I didn't know what to do to access my own emotional reality. I was faking it. And so I went back from that experience and started to teach a class full time. And it all revolves around sort of my belief and what it means to be a great actor and sort of how you get into that space. So, long story short, Mariska's great. Ice-T was awesome. Carol Burnett is like the legend you want her to be because she will tell you stories for hours. But for me, that show is really about understanding how to develop more of a craft to be a better actor.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yes.
Hi, Matthew. First of all, I appreciate your eclectic career. And I was
that's code for shitty. I'm kidding. Okay, I'm just joking.
And I was wondering if you would discuss or kind of share your insight on whether or not Kenneth Branagh took your performance in She's All That to cast you in Love's Labor Lost.
You just crushed IMDb. Like, what is the most random thing I can pull up? Love's Labor's Lost. Done. I was in a movie with Kenneth Branagh called Love's Labor's Lost.
Yes.
Which literally the weekend it came out, it said 450 next to the box office. I'm like, oh my God, we made $4.5 million. It was $450 bucks. It did not do well. I don't understand why. Alicia Silverstone and Matthew Lillard in Shakespeare, who doesn't want to see that? But that movie was one of the great experiences of my life. I auditioned with Ken Branagh. Does everyone know who Kenneth Branagh is? Yeah. He's a legendary Shakespeare actor. And he said, and I went in to audition. No, it was a meeting. So I met him for an hour and a half, and we sat there and bullshit. And he said he would like you to come back to audition, prepare something. So I was like, I had a week to prepare. So I walked into this audition. And I said to him, I have every line in the play from Baroon, because I had just done the play. I know all of Longaville's lines, which is the part I was auditioning for. I have 2 sonnets, 2 Shakespeare monologues, and if you need me to, I'll read anything cold. And he said, let's work on the first line. And so we worked on the first line for like 45 minutes. And then we went to the second line, in which, in the veracity of my performance, I tore his shirt. I still got the job. But he's a brilliant director. And we did the entire play, top to bottom. It was Nathan Lane, it was Timothy Spall, it was incredible English actors. And we did the whole play for the crew before we even started shooting. It was awesome.
And you sang.
And I sang. I can't sing. I want you to know, like, everyone else can sing, and they were, like, auto-tuning the shit out of me.
Well, you were wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You and my mom have seen that movie. That's it. It's the only movie you can say and they won't scream. 2 more questions. 3 minutes. You can't make me leave. Down with the man! Get out! F off! Quick, ask me 5 questions.
Hi, I love Without a Paddle.
Yeah! I did not spill.
Okay.
And I was just wondering if you had any fun stories from shooting that.
I have so many fun stories, it's ridiculous. Too bad I have to go.
Hey, the good news is you've got a panel tomorrow and Sunday. You'll be back at ×3.
You guys, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you listening. All your cat screams. Thank you very much.
Matthew Lillard! No, that's not how we rehearsed.
Matt wanted Scooby-Doo.
Hey, well, you didn't tell me that.
Let's do it.
In our notes session.
Let's do it.
From the beginning, the real song.
Scooby-Doo, where are you?
what to do now. Excuse me, where are you? We need the help from you now. All right. All right. That's that. Stop. All right, the good news is he's going to be on stage 2 more times. We have more chances to get that right. Always what you love to hear the band say. Well, we'll get that right at some point. All right.